Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Teresa. How are
Good morning,
you?
Miss Teresa.
Good morning.
Good morning, Teresa. There she is.
Any birthdays today?
Good morning.
Any birthdays this week? No birthdays? Nobody celebrating anything?
Carolyn Underwood's is tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Happy early birthday, Miss Carolyn.
Is she
Thank
on
you.
board?
Happy birthday.
Oh,
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Carolyn.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, all right. It's always lovely to see your smiling faces and hear your voices for those who are not on camera. It's always a blessing to see you, a blessing to see you all live and well. Okay, so we are looking at, last week we covered voice control, and you're trying to figure out what is the difference between voice control and voice over. So today we're going to learn about what voice over is, and then we're going to look at the two, so to see which one works best for you. Okay. So I'm going to begin my, is my screen visible?
Yeah, you're good, Teresa.
All right, so let's move right in. What is voiceover? Let's get rid of this. Okay, so it's an accessibility feature that makes iPads easier to operate for blind and sight impaired. That's what it's used for, sight impaired. So how does one activate VoiceOver? Well, as usual, we have to go to settings. And then from the settings home, we look for what? Accessibility, as you're shown here on my screen. First settings here, and then you look for, and if you don't see it, just enter it into search and it'll show up. All
Teresa, right. Do you have to read the disclaimer? Is that part of it for this?
Well, thank you for reminding. I did read it on Friday, but if you want me to read it again.
I thought you read it each time you give us information like this.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I should be consistent. But I guess somewhere in the back of my mind, I feel like I'm continuing on from Friday.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I am continuing on. It's the same slides. We just did voice control on Friday. Today we're doing voiceover. But if you want me to use the disclaimer, I'll be happy to do it. Okay.
That was a good reminder, Brenda. That was, because we're so used to it. So that was great.
Right. Yeah. So let me go and read the disclaimer. I am going to let's go back. We got to go back a few slides because it's all the way up in the front.
Sorry about that, Miss Patrice.
No. You're keeping me in check.
Yeah.
I need to be kept in check from time to time. So let's go ahead and do this. I don't live in a one. There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Okay. So the Wilderness Technology Alliance, DCI, Senior iPad Program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual health, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on the information in any application or topics made by the Wilderness Tech Alliance, including but not limited to mobile and device applications and any social media pages maintained by the Wilderness Tech Alliance DC Senior iPad Program, its owners, all presenters, as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thank you. Okay. All right, advanced next, back to voiceover. Because we did voice control. So we're now going on to voice.
Almost there. Here we go. Almost there.
Yep, here we go. So I just shared with you that it is an accessibility feature. Okay. And how do you get it launched? Well, you want to go to settings and then look for accessibility, tap on that. And then once you're in there, you can shown here on my screen, you tap on where it says voiceover, under the vision category. So you want to look for vision category is shown here, and there it is. This is what it should look like on your iPad. Also take note that there's a rate here, the speaking rate shown here. If you want to listen to it slow than it is right now. Right now it's shown at midpoint. You could slow it down, or if you want to go faster, you go a little faster. But this is how you decide on what rate the speaking rate should be. The speech. And then and I don't know much about the Braille, so I'm not going to go there, but so I'm not going to touch on that for now. But we're going to look at some of the commands, and we're going to look at the activities. If you're going to be using a rotor, we'll talk about what a rotor is and how it's being used and the rotor actions, okay? So we're going to look at some of these features in VoiceOver. All right, so VoiceOver changes the gesture in the iOS in order to make it easier for visually impaired individuals to know what they're tapping on before they actually select it. Here are some tips to using VoiceOver. All right, so these are just a few things I just threw in here. Single tap anywhere on the screen and your iPad will speak aloud the item that you're tapping on. That's of course after you've set it up. You've powered it up, got your iPad, you've selected it, and you're now using VoiceOver. If you tap anywhere on the screen, your iPad will speak aloud the item that you're tapping on. Double tap on any item to select it. So speak once for any, and if you want to select the item, let's say it's an app that you want to use, you need to double tap that app. Scroll through a page, use 3 fingers. With VoiceOver off, you typically use only 1 finger to scroll. But in VoiceOver, you'll need to use 3 so that your iPad doesn't misread a tap as a scroll. So if it's on, which is what we're talking about, you've got to use 3 fingers to scroll through from page to page, okay?
Yes.
Double tap with 3 fingers to toggle the speech commands on and off from the lock screen. So I don't expect you to remember these, but you need to play with it to become more familiar with it. All right, a 2-finger double tap while performing an action will start or stop that action. For example, if you're on the phone, that's if you're using it on your phone, you double tap the screen with 2 fingers to end the call that you're on. If you're using the camera, of course, double tap with 2 fingers to take a photograph. So you turn the camera on, you double tap to take the photo. In VoiceOver options, you can customize and fine-tune options such as whether or not you'd like to the device to speak notifications. So those are some of the tips that VoiceOver, would like you to, if you begin using it. He says, if you're a VoiceOver user, you need to check out some tricks. So I've got a video here, I'm going to show it, and hopefully you'll see some of the where we're going when I talked about using the VoiceOver rotor. We'll talk about what a rotor is in a little while. In fact, I have a video just on that. And let's go here.
If you use VoiceOver to navigate your iPhone or iPad,
can you hear it?
Use the rotor to drag multiple apps on your home screen and create a folder.
Yes.
Yes, you're good, Teresa.
Photography folder with photos, FaceTime, and camera. With VoiceOver on, rotate 2 fingers on the screen to turn the rotor, like you're turning a dial.
Headings.
Keep turning the rotor until the voice says actions, and then lift your fingers to select that option.
Actions.
Flick right to select the Photos app.
Calendar. Photos.
Now flick down until you hear Edit Mode.
Edit mode.
Double tap to enter Edit Mode. The voice says Started Editing, and you'll hear a sound.
Started editing.
Flick down until the voice says Drag Photos.
Drag photos.
Double tap to confirm, which adds photos to the drag session.
FaceTime is editing.
FaceTime is selected automatically since it's the first app on the screen. With FaceTime selected, flick down until you hear Add to Drag Session.
Stop editing apps. Add to drag session.
Double tap to confirm, which adds FaceTime to the drag session and says dragging 2 items.
Dragging 2 items.
Flick right to move the selector to the camera app.
Camera is editing.
Flick down until you hear Create New Folder.
Stop editing apps. Add to drag session. Drop FaceTime. Drop FaceTime. Create new folder with camera and photos. FaceTime. Drop ready.
Double tap to confirm, and iOS creates the folder.
Creating photography folder.
Flick down until you hear Stop Editing Apps.
Stop editing apps.
And double tap to exit edit mode.
Finished editing.
Making big moves.
So I don't expect you to
turn on type
understand this right now, but just to know that it's there and you can access it. If you ever need to, I can always direct you on how to use that. So let's move to the next slide. How do you change the speaking rate in VoiceOver? You can, and I showed you in settings, but once we get Alex, we'll actually show you again in settings how to change the speaking rate. But that's very possible that if it's too fast, like that video we just watched, they're speaking on the fast side.
Yes.
Don't you agree? So
yes.
you can slow it down. Okay. And you'll learn how to do that. All right. So how do you change it? You go into settings, of course, go to accessibility. That's the second part. The third is you look for VoiceOver, and here it is here.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you tap on this, and you can move it up or down to suit your understanding as far as the rate. It says here, the further right, you could fast it, speed it up, and then to slow it down, you go to the left.
Mm-hmm.
That's the rate of it, the voice. How do you enable a pitch change in the VoiceOver? Okay, it says the pitch change makes the VoiceOver speak at a higher pitch when reading the first item in a group and a lower pitch when reading the last item in a group. It's kind of hard to distinguish, but if you need, but if you need it, it's there. Okay, so how do you set that up? Same thing. Go to settings, that's the pitch. And these are things you have to play with to get an understanding of how it works. You got to go in there and you got to play with it. I'm here just to tell you that it's there and how to get started. Okay, so again, how do you change the speaking rate? Come in, you go to accessibility, then VoiceOver, then speech, and then the rate. Here it is here. All right. Just some more information on it. All right. So you can also get VoiceOver to communicate with you as far as the apps on your iPad. It says you can use VoiceOver to interact with apps even if you can't see the screen. VoiceOver is supported in built-in Apple apps that came with your iPad, such as Safari, Maps, and more. So many of those apps that came with your iPad, VoiceOver has built-in features to assist you in communicating with them. With VoiceOver recognition, you can get descriptions of images and screen elements even on web pages and in apps without accessibility information. For example, if you wanted to search the web, you can use Safari. It says select the address and double tap to show the keyboard, right? Then into a search term, like whatever it is you want to search for. If it's you want to go shopping at Walmart, put Walmart in, double tap that, and then go and select the suggestion. If you wanted to skip to the next item on a web page. So Safari is one of the apps that VoiceOver will assist you, will actually tell you what's going on in Safari, say what's going on for you. So then we have For searching the actual web, you could set the rotor settings for web browsing. And I'm going to show a brief video in a little while. What is the rotor used for? So we're going to look at that in a little while. So this is what the rotor looks like. It says in VoiceOver, the built-in screen reader found on all Macs and iOS devices, your iPad. This feature is called the rotor because it lets you rotate through a set of such lists. This image from the Apple website, which is right, demonstrates how the web rotor is activated using two-finger twist gesture in VoiceOver, similar to turning a knob. So this, and you'll watch the video on it. It says, when VoiceOver is turned on, you can rotate two fingers on your screen as if you're turning a dial. If you prefer to use one finger on each hand, simultaneously drag up with one finger, drag down with the other. VoiceOver speaks the rotor settings. Keep rotating your fingers to hear more settings. That's what it looks like once you open it up on your iPad. So I'm going to show you a free video on that.
There's one simple hearing hack anyone can use to get rid of tinnitus in less than...
The rotor is something that allows us to change settings on the fly. So the way we can access the rotor, or the way we activate the rotor, is by using two fingers. I prefer using two different hands so that it gives me a little bit more flexibility in terms of how I move. With one finger, I'm going to hold a stationary position on the screen. I prefer to do this around the 9 o'clock position towards the center of the left edge of the screen. And with the other finger, I'm going to draw a clockwise semicircle around this fingertip. And as I do that, you'll hear the different options that are available in the rotor.
Double tap containers, characters, words.
Right now, I'm going to go to the characters attribute.
Characters.
And then I release my fingers. This now means that the rotor is set to characters. So everything that I do going forward will reflect that attribute. What does that mean? It means now with a single finger swipe down or up, it will move through different words or different letters and things of that nature, letter by letter, basically spelling out what I'm looking at. So I'm going to touch one of the icons here on the
dog, mail, one new item.
So I
double tap to open.
So I touch the mail item on the dock. And now if I use a single finger swipe down, again, anywhere on the screen, because now VoiceOver's focus is on the mail icon, it'll spell out the word mail, and then even the suffix that is there that says there's one new item.
Capital M, A, I, L.
So each letter that you hear is responding to a single finger swipe down.
Comma, space, 1, space, N, E, W, space, I, T, E, M. Mike.
Okay, and then in reverse, if I flick my finger up, it'll go backwards, right? So it'll read the word item backwards, or it'll spell it backwards rather, and then so on and so forth until we get to the beginning of the mail, the word mail.
M, E, T, I, space, W, E, N, space, 1, space, comma, L, I, A, capital M.
And then once I get to the M, if I flick up, it won't let me go any further, right? So it gives me a thud. One thing to note is that as you place your fingers on the screen to activate the rotor, you may hear VoiceOver announce the name of a different icon. This is just an indication that you're touching that icon, but once you activate the rotor becomes the main focus of the screen. Now, if I want to hear it word by word, I can change the rotor setting again.
Maps. Double tap to open words. Dog, mail, one new item. Double tap to open.
I'm going to use the same icon. So I'm going to swipe down and you'll hear it word by word. Mail.
Mail, one new item.
Right, and then if I swipe up.
Item, new, one, mail.
And this gives me some flexibility in terms of how I move through words or through a series of words. Sometimes I don't understand what the digital voice is saying, so spelling it out is helpful. and that's the rotor.
This changes everything we know about tinnitus.
Okay, so I know you didn't get quite what the rotor does, but we're going to actually demonstrate it. So Alex, if you're there, meanwhile, you can go look at the rotor and see, we can show you what's the purpose behind it. All right, so with the rotor allows you to do lots of things once it's, of course, set up. So it says here, how to create a folder with VoiceOver. If you're a VoiceOver user, check out this trick for using VoiceOver Rotor on your iPad to group multiple apps together on your home screen. So let's say you wanted to put a group of apps all in a folder, because those are the apps you're going to frequently use, and you want to be able to have VoiceOver tell you what's going on, how to get in, just be your eyes for you. So let's see what this video is saying.
If you use VoiceOver to navigate your iPhone or iPad, you can use the rotor to drag multiple apps on your home screen and create a folder. Here's how to create a photography folder with photos, FaceTime, and camera. With VoiceOver on, rotate 2 fingers on the screen to turn the rotor, like you're turning a dial.
Headings.
Keep turning the rotor until the voice says Actions, and then lift your fingers to select that option.
Actions.
Flick right to select the Photos app.
Calendar. Photos.
Now flick down until you hear Edit Mode.
Edit mode.
Double tap to enter Edit Mode. The voice says Started Editing, and you'll hear a sound.
Started editing.
Flick down until the voice says Drag Photos.
Drag photos.
Double tap to confirm, which adds photos to the drag session.
FaceTime is editing.
FaceTime is selected automatically since it's the first app on the screen. With FaceTime selected, flick down until you hear Add to Drag Session.
Stop editing apps. Add to drag session.
Double tap to confirm, which adds FaceTime to the drag session and says Dragging 2 items.
Dragging 2 items.
Flick right to move the selector to the camera app.
Camera is editing.
Flick down until you hear Create New Folder.
Stop editing apps. Add to drag session. Drop FaceTime. Drop FaceTime. Create new folder with camera and photos. FaceTime. Drop ready.
Double tap to confirm, and iOS creates the folder.
Creating photography folder.
Flick down until you hear Stop Editing Apps.
Stop editing apps.
And double tap to exit edit mode.
Finished editing.
Making big moves.
Okay, so that's kind of like the video you watched before, but this one is basically telling you how possible it is. So here are some of the commands for VoiceOver. What are VoiceOver commands? Action, to open the VoiceOver user guide, you can see just V VoiceOver. Read the help tag for the current item. And that's if you know how to use, if you use the shift key. The shift key is the far left key on your keyboard. But I think you all should be. The shift key is also on the iPad as an arrow.
Teresa, these are for the shortcuts on a Mac. So yeah, this one is
for Mac.
Yeah, all of those right there are for Mac. So
right. So
there's no keyboard
shortcut ones for. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So at this time, what we're going to do, Alex, if you have your iPad and if you can begin sharing your screen, and let's go into VoiceOver, set it up, and look at the various parts of the features that are available. But let's spend some time in Rotor so they can learn what is a Rotor and how to utilize it.
Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. And then I'm just following your directions, okay, Teresa?
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I know we all go to settings. So again, just like we've been doing since Friday, we go to settings.
Mm-hmm.
And on the left-hand side,
accessibility,
you swipe and find accessibility.
There you go.
When you do that, you get to the different options available. So on Friday, we went over voice control, but today we're going over VoiceOver, which is the first
Vision
option
section.
that you see at the top. So you're gonna hit VoiceOver. And then when you do that,
let them see where, go up to the hit. There you go.
This is yeah, so it's the very first one. It says VoiceOver, and then you tap on that to be able to set it up. So it says VoiceOver speaks item on the screen. Tap once to select an item, double tap to activate the selected item. And of course, there's many different commands that you can
here they are.
Learn how to do if you hit learn more. So I'm not sure how this is going to work with me being on Zoom, but let's see how it does. So you see it says VoiceOver on the right-hand side. You hit the button in order to turn it on.
Okay, VoiceOver changes the gestures.
Yep, so important, the VoiceOver changes the gestures used to control your iPad. Are you sure you want to continue? Press the home button to cancel. So we're gonna hit okay. Yeah, so you see I had to actually double tap that the okay button to be able to actually press it, because now I'm in VoiceOver mode. And when you turn on VoiceOver, you see now it says VoiceOver practice. So you can practice the different gestures that are there.
Tap on it so they can see.
So I tap on it. And then again, if you're seeing what you're doing, you have to double tap in order to actually select the button while you're in VoiceOver mode. Yeah, so when you double tap with one finger, that's like pressing the key that it just told you, because again, all the apps or whatever you're on, the iPad's going to tell you where you're on. So if you want to select that option, like if it's an app, you want to double tap with one finger to press, or they say activate it on your device.
Press it twice. Press the home button to cancel. Press OK.
Okay. I'm just seeing the different options.
Thanks. Okay.
So it's with different gestures, because again, this is mainly for those that are sight impaired or are unable to see. I'm just using my finger to practice different gestures that are available. So again, if I double tap, that means you activate. If you triple tap or quadruple tap, it's secondary activate. But if you do 3, it's like a long press. So like if you're holding an icon and you wanted to move it around, this is what the same type of feature. You're just holding something for as you would a couple of seconds. Like when we download images from Google, when we want to download a virtual background, this is when you would want to triple tap with your finger to simulate a long press. So I just use 3 fingers to swipe left, and that's how you scroll right. So this is, again, how you navigate your iPad with just your fingers. Again, you don't have to see any of what you're doing. You just have to recognize the gestures that are available. So again, if you want to speak the entire screen from the top, for example, there's a list of different gestures that I just looked at. But you can, if you swipe with 2 fingers up, you speak the entire screen from the top, or if you 2-finger tap, that's how you toggle speech. If you tap with 3 fingers at once, you can get a summary of that. So those are the general ideas when it comes to voiceover. There are different gestures that, of course, you'll have to learn, but it's quite cool that you don't even need to see your iPad in order to navigate it. Right?
That's true. So let's move to the next.
What do you want me to do next, Teresa?
Well, you're showing that I don't know, on my end, I'm showing where it says voiceover practice.
Yeah, so again, it's the prompts are not coming up from them. When you practice with your fingers.
Can you hit done? Can you hit the done, and let's see. Yeah, hit that. Okay, that's where I want us to go. But thank you. All right, so let's play with a speaking rate so they can see how that works.
So
I don't know if that would speed it up or what.
Yeah, it's harder to move. So I just turned the voiceover off really quick.
You're right. But that's how you move. You take your finger, you tap it, you just forward.
Go faster or slower.
Yeah, to slow it down. Let's go to speech.
You can hear that?
No, it didn't change because you're on Zoom.
Okay, yeah, it's on mine. So if I move it, if I moved it over there to the right, it would be a lot faster.
Yep. All right, let's go into speech.
Okay.
And then just so they can see what's going on there. Notice here.
So voice.
There's pronunciations also.
There are pronunciations.
How you want words pronounced or names. You can select that to your likeness, of course. There's language. If you want it to be Spanish, you can choose Spanish.
Yeah, so there's English Australian, English Indian, English Ireland, English. So it just depends on what language that you have set up on your device. So there's voice, there's pronunciations, there's the pitch. Let me see what happens for the pitch. I can't hear it on my end. So
no, there's nothing on this end, but I'm sure once you're in VoiceOver, it will.
Yeah, and then if I hit add new language, that's when I can add the different languages to VoiceOver, so that whoever's the voice of the VoiceOver can also change their language as well.
Okay, let's go back. All right, so what else do we have? VoiceOver recognition. Let's go there.
Yeah, it says using on-device intelligence, your iPad will automatically improve the accessibility of apps, images, and text. VoiceOver recognition should not be relied upon in these circumstances where you can be harmed or injured in high-risk situations for navigation or for the diagnosis or treatment of any medical condition. Image descriptions, you can turn that on or off. Your iPad will speak descriptions of images and apps and on the web. So you can turn it on at the top right and change the different settings regarding to that. So you can apply it to different apps as well. Again, additional languages for the images themselves you can add. So you can turn that on or off. Screen recognition, your iPad will automatically make apps more accessible by recognizing items on the screen. Your iPad will automatically improve the accessibility of apps that have no accessibility information, such as identifying the state of buttons or toggles, and by grouping related items together. In other apps, screen recognition can be accessed through the rotor. And again, you can turn it on or off at the top, and you can also apply it to different apps of your choosing.
And those apps are what you can group in a folder, the ones that you would like to access on a frequent basis.
Yeah, this is because each app is going to have its buttons set up in different places and different orientations. So this helps you navigate those different apps. So text recognition, your iPad will speak descriptions of text, found images. That was already turned on. and feedback style out the options for VoiceOver recognition. So again, you can choose what style you would like. Is there even more verbosity?
No, there's really nothing more. We'll allow them to ask questions now if they have questions, and then wrap it up. Any questions out there?
Ms. Duckett has her hand raised.
Okay.
Okay. When we do Zoom, should we turn VoiceOver off? You know, like I'm speaking of us that use, you know, the Siri. So when we do, if we want to come on Zoom, right? So we should turn VoiceOver off and join, and then turn VoiceOver back on. Is that the way we should do that?
I mean, that's an interesting question, but I don't think there would be a need, because you wouldn't be, when you're in Zoom, you're not interacting with the apps.
Okay.
We're in a classes doing that. But if you're not, you're just participating in the class, there's no need to turn it on.
Okay.
Yeah, Miss Duckett. I mean, the only reason why you would have VoiceOver on, if you're in a Zoom, is if you want to use the navigation bar, like to mute or unmute yourself, or to like start your video, all those different buttons at the top of the navigation bar. That's when I would assume you would need a VoiceOver in order to, you know, again, mute or unmute yourself. So I'm not sure how it conflicts with the audio coming from the participants, but I would check it out and see what it does.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Ms.
Duckett.
And we've got Greer. Greer, go ahead.
Hi, Greer. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning to all. What's the next one down? What is that? Verbacy? What is that?
Yeah, it's just how the VoiceOver pronounces its
Open it up
words.
so you can see.
So again, punctuation, different hints, capital letters, links.
Okay.
Yeah, so verbose, how they speak.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. Now I do have another question. The main one I wanted to ask, I don't know if this is the right time, but my iPad, quite often now it's rotating. You know, I'll have it before me, and then the screen will rotate. How can I stop it from rotating?
Yes, Greer. You open the control center and turn on or off the portrait option. So if you open the control center and you look right here where the lock icon is at, you can either lock it or unlock it. So you see when I turn it on, it says rotation lock. So even if I move my iPad, the screen doesn't change, but if I have it turned off, then you know, when I move my iPad, it changes. Okay.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No problem, Greer. Thanks so much.
Let's go down to where the rotor. I don't see anything.
So
open up on the rotor.
Here's rotor. So just like those gestures in the video, you can have the different selections turned on or off. So those are the different rotor actions available. Again, I think I've seen in the video, you use your hand to turn it with an amount of fingers, like 90 degrees clockwise or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's how you can look at how many characters that particular app is, or words or lines or whatever. Same thing for rotor action. So the video that you guys watched on the folder, you can edit your apps on your home screen through the rotor. And you can also allow VoiceOver to use direct touch to control an app directly without requiring more interaction. So it automatically does all of the apps that you have on your device.
I think if you'd like to find out more about the rotor, one way is to go in there, set it up, and play with it and see how it really, because that's the only way to become familiar with the rotor and see the benefits of using the rotor is to actually interact with it. Wouldn't hurt you in any way to do that. It's not going to break, your device or anything. Just go in there, tap on rotor, and the little image will come up, and just tap on that with your 2 fingers to learn how to use your gestures to manipulate the rotor for your benefit, of course. All right. Any more? Oh, we've got Brenda.
Hey, Brenda, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. Now I understand that this feature is for like the hearing impaired and vision impaired.
Sight impaired mainly.
Okay, sight impaired. So would that help us, that our vision is okay? I mean,
you don't need.
Would it be
Brenda? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. If I, it's just good to know in the future because you may never know what will happen with your sight. So if you are not sight impaired or you're blind, then I would know it or know at least the simple basics of it just in case I ever get into that situation. Okay. But if you're not, then I wouldn't use this feature because it is a lot. It is not a lot to learn, but I mean, it's still just a lesson in itself that this feature is available and someone, took the time that came up with all the different gestures because I mean, just not being able to see what you're doing is just a big challenge in of itself. So if you're not sight impaired, then, I wouldn't go too deep, but in case that situation ever happened one day, then it would just be good to know the basics. So just simple gestures like tapping and moving, that's what I would know. But it's also, it's just good to know.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, Brenda.
I think we only had like 2 individuals that had the limited vision, Miss Duckett and one other person, I think Michael.
Yeah, there are a couple of others, in the program.
Do we have any more with
it's
vision,
it's
impaired
just a handful
vision?
or so.
No, but in the event you do, just let me know because I have some other additional videos I'd like to show only for those who are wanting to set up their iPad for that. Actual course on that area. But I wouldn't, I'd only gear it for those who want to. I don't mind spending the time to work with those individuals on an actual course for those that are vision impaired. There's some more courses on how to utilize your iPad for that reason. Okay, Lynette. Hi, Lynette.
Hi, Lynette. How are you?
Good morning, everybody. I think this was a very cool presentation because none of us ever know if we're going to ever need this type of accessibility. And I'm glad that we have it for those who do already need it. And it's just really great to be able to know the power that this iPad can provide for us in many different ways. And I'm beginning to realize this is a powerful little tool that we have here that can help us in many, many ways. So thank you very much.
Yeah. No problem, Ms. Lynette. That's what we do here. So I enjoy it as well. So.
Yeah, the iPad is, when it was designed, it's a phenomenal device there for those with limited vision and hearing. That's why DACL, well, not DACL, it was Octo, chose it. It was the best device they could find to assist, especially with the senior population.
It's wonderful, wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I truly appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Any other questions from anybody?
And if there isn't, we'd like to say thank you for participating in today's advanced tech training.
I want to say thank you.
Go ahead.
I want to say thank you too, because sometimes I have a hard time with getting on the meeting and what have you. So, and I'm trying to learn how to do it, you know, like the sighted people. So I appreciate you bringing these points to us. Thank you so much.
Ms. Duckett,
no problem, Ms. Duckett.
I'm curious when you say you have difficulty getting onto the meetings. Perhaps we can help you in eliminating those hurdles when it comes to using voice control and voice over to access the Zoom meetings. Is that something you could use help with?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so let me document that and then get that to our help desk and let them become aware of what your needs are and in that area, and maybe have a special one-on-one lesson with you. Now, you do make it into the libraries from time to time, don't you?
Yes, I do.
All right, let's see if we can get Caroline or whomever to show you how to access the meeting using VoiceOver, because that's one of the apps on your device that built-in feature is available for.
And could I add, I have a keyboard as well, Teresa, and sometimes Caroline has tried to see how the keyboard, you know, works with the iPad, but sometimes it doesn't. We don't know how to get it to work with the keypad.
All right, so maybe I need to.
I remember that, Miss Duckett. So just with the, just in general. So do you need assistance? Because when you said you were having difficulties, are you talking about like your schedule in regards to getting onto the classes, or really just getting onto Zoom on your iPad instead of your phone? Is that correct?
It's getting on to my iPad with Zoom and what have you.
Yeah, so I know
needs a special lesson on that.
I know Caroline. When you are with Caroline in the library, I know that she does get you on Zoom on your iPad. So I'm not sure how is she just assisting you just the normal way of just getting on, or has she tried to assist you with the VoiceOver and getting on Zoom?
She tried to see how she could get the iPad and the keyboard, you know, to work together, because she was saying that, you know, if we could get the keyboard to work, it would help me to get on, you know, much better, because I can type it in. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I you know, there is a lot to go into that, because are you joining through the Zoom app itself, or are you joining through the email that you get every day?
Well, when I come on, I have been dialing in.
Yes. But with Caroline, do you know if you guys did it through the email, or did you guys physically like type in the numbers in the Zoom app? Do you remember?
When Caroline is on with me, she tried to get it to work with the iPad by itself first. And sometimes Siri won't let her do certain things, and we keep telling it we want it to do such and such a thing, and Siri won't respond sometimes.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ms. Duckett, I'll work with Caroline in that area, because I do have access to some videos that especially designed for those with limited vision, and see if I can get her trained in that area to help you better.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really the gestures, Ms. Duckett.
She's really been trying, and I tell you who else has tried is Crystal.
Oh yes, Crystal. She did a great job with you, Ms. Duckett. So hopefully she'll get back on and just learn more.
Okay.
Yeah, both of them had tried.
All right. Okay, Ms. Duckett. Thank you for sharing again, and we'll see what we can do to assist you the best we can. Willett, go ahead, Ms. Bennett.
Hi, Ms. Bennett. How are you? You have to unmute yourself, Ms. Bennett. So hit unmute in the middle.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. I'm so glad you had this session because, you know, I've been asking for stuff like this, and Caroline and all have been helping me, and I'm coming along pretty good. I just need
yes, Ms. Bennett.
a little more lessons because my sight haven't gotten better, but thank gracious for VoiceOver and all the other things that I am learning. And I really appreciate you all. I really appreciate the program. And I would like to see more of this, please, if possible.
Yes, we'll definitely keep that in mind, Ms. Bennett.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
No problem. You have a great morning.
Okay, thank you. You too.
And as a reminder, we do have the lunch club at 12 and we have our module at 1:30. So stay on, you know?
Oh, no question. I'll be here. Thank you.
All right.
Hi, Helen.
Hi, Miss Helen. How are you?
Hi, my husband is blind in one eye and has limited sight in the other. And the Prevention of Blindness had mentioned this program. And yes, I'd like to be included in anything that you have that could help him use the iPad.
Okay, I'm writing that down.
One resource that I know of just off the top of my head, I know MLK Library, they assist with a lot of different things. I'm pretty sure they also have a unit for folks that are sight and hearing impaired. So I would reach out to them to see if they also could assist you in any way as well, okay?
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
No problem, Ms. Helen, you have a great morning.
All right.
Any other questions for today before we take a
do we
little
have
break?
Is Michael Cooper on board? We had him last Friday. He was having difficulty.
No, Mr. Power's not on today.
He's not on because I did contact the help desk and they are going to be contacting him to assist him with his voice control. Okay, so that brings us to the end of today's. There will be more on accessibility. I will let you know, but for now, until we get into the mid part of July, I'm going to wrap it up with this, but there's more to come. Okay? Mm-hmm. So we'll be looking at dictation next time, dictating an email using your keyboard. Dictation.
Just continue to check Teresa's email for all of our sessions, all right?
Okay.
All righty.
Have a blessed afternoon if we don't see you later, but we are on board this afternoon.
Yeah, so get your lunch together, use the restroom if you need to, get something to drink. We'll be on to start the lunch club in about half an hour. So everyone relax for a bit. And again, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.